Felix, I'll start. Could you share some of your thoughts on the match today?
Yeah. It's one of those Grand Slam matches that you remember. I've played a few over my career, but some I've lost, and this one was an important one to win. Obviously, it would have been tough to lose that one. So I'm very happy with the way I handle things, with the way I competed, and the way I finished the match eventually.
Liam?
Hi Felix, congrats on getting on to the next round. At the end of the fourth set, what were you telling yourself internally to get yourself over the line, but also when the match ended, what was the interaction at the net?
So for me, what's important is the intentions that you have on the court. So at the end of the fourth, I'm up a break. So, but every point I reset, and I have to have clear intentions. And I don't have regrets, so to speak, about the end of the fourth. I had 15-40. He hit it back in on the line. Then I had a great return. I had a look on the back end, and I went for the big shot cross court. I missed. So okay, you can think back, but in the end, I had the right intention. So obviously, it's a shame I wasn't able to hit some first serves, but he went for it. He got fortunate. Then that whole thing happened, but in the end, what I was thinking about 5-all tiebreak is just, okay, try to keep the right intentions, try to play the right shots, and if you miss, you miss. Obviously, there's a bit of tension involved, but I think that mindset helped me to keep going in the fifth and play the right way.
Hey Felix, great match. Just want to ask about that point in the fourth set, the crazy point. I know you mentioned it on the court, but even though you're on the losing end of a point like that, do you still get enjoyment out of that? Like just the craziness of it?
It was insane. Best point I've ever played. Just because that live reaction from the crowd, I think, it now can talk about it, but when you have the full roar of the crowd, like the full crowd up on their feet while the point is playing on, like it shook me, like middle of the point. I'm running to the ball and I was kind of like, smiling to myself. I was like, and thinking like I have to make it, but then I missed. But it's still funny, and obviously the situation of the match, it wasn't, let's say, the most important point, so to speak. But it was best point I've been a part of for sure in my career.
Well played today, Felix. As Liam said, there was like an interaction between you two at the end. Like, what was that about? And also just your thoughts on playing Novak as well. Just believe it to be the third time you played.
Yeah. Well, no, the interactions between him and I don't want to get into that. If he wants to come in here and talk about it, he can. But he knows my opinion, and that's it's one of these things that I have differences with people in my life on tour, and they know what I think, and that's the most important. Now, what I can say, though, is that I think the rule has to change. I think that, obviously, as long as the rule is like that, player will use it in their advantage. And I think that it's very simple. If you're hurt bad, or whatever you're hurt, while the game's going on of your opponent, in the middle of the game, the opponent's serving, the shot clock is on, and you basically, if you're hurt bad, you're forfeiting every point until you can call the physio. And if the physio helps you to recover, then you play your service game, right? And if you're hurt bad, then you retire, obviously. But to stop in the middle of an opponent's service game and to be able to call the physio, I think that's a disgrace of a rule. I don't see any other sport where you can do that. And I mark my words, it's a disgrace of a rule. So that's it.
Michael.
Felix, just on that then, have you spoken to anyone, like any official about that? About your thoughts on that rule?
I didn't need to speak about it. The conversation is ongoing, but nobody's taking decisions. You know what I mean? Like, we'll come in the future. No, like, it's simple. 2027 comes, boom, you change the rule. End of the conversation. Like, enough discussing.
And look, the actual question I want to ask, is your inner monologue as clear as you described it? Like always, is it always like that? Is it ever...
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Is your inner monologue, like what you're telling yourself,
Yeah.
is that always as clear as the way you described it, just earlier, just now?
Well, I think it's more and more clear over the years. I think that because I'm trying to be very disciplined with the work that I do, not just on the court in the gym, but off the court as well, and the hours in between. So I prepare for these moments. I prepare mentally a lot. So yeah, I do feel that, you know, my inner monologue is more stable throughout the years and more positive. And also, you know, at the end, I'm not in my 30s. I'm not, but I faced in my young, you know, career so far, I faced a lot of different situations, you know, and this is one more.
Nana from Serbian Radio. Congrats on the
Thank you.
victory. You haven't played Novak since like 2 years ago, 2022 in Rome, and
Yeah.
maybe one more match in Laver Cup.
Yeah.
Since then, what changed, like in terms of your tennis? Where do you see yourself, like, you know, and tell us anything, like what you expect from that match, and what is your advantage? What is Novak's advantage in the
Yeah.
match, possibly?
Well, look, it's simple. I need to play my best. There's no going through if I don't play my best. So the game plan is quite simple, and yeah, I hope that I can show that I've improved as a player. It's a big opportunity. It's a big honor for me to play this match. Playing here is it's one of those matches that you want to have and that you train for and prepare for. And I can only say, you know, good things about Novak, because again, now that I'm a tennis player, I think as a kid I didn't appreciate it as much, but now that I'm a player, the load of work he's done over the years, I mean, I'm not even near any of that, and it's just to think about it is like, it's crazy. You get like dizzy just to think about it. So huge respect to him, and I have to say, you know, even he's been very generous, you know, with his time. I've, you know, reached out to him at times to ask him about questions, pick his brain. I love to listen and to learn from older players and generations, and he's been very generous with his time as well. So huge respect to that, not only as a player but as a person as well.